point, you've stitched around the edges of your pillow, you've stuffed your pillow, and all you have left is this little gap. So now we're gonna work on closing up this gap. And we're gonna do it with some thread and a hand sewing needle and a pair of scissors. We begin with our thread, which we're going to take and cut the end of with a pair of scissors to create a nice fresh tip. Then we can draw the end of the thread through the eye of the needle and then pull the thread through. And give yourself a good amount of thread, almost an arm's length. Cut the thread. Now find the ends of your threads and go ahead and tie a simple knot there. And you can tie another knot on top of it for good measure. There. And then you can snip a little bit of the excess thread to the right of your knot. And we're all ready to go. Take your needle and insert it from underneath just to the left of one end of the opening and bring it up right through the seam line. Just like that. Now I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to draw that needle down very close to my first stitch, still right through the center of that seam line, and then I'm going to bring the needle back up just by the beginning of the opening. And then I'm also trying to bring the needle up through the center of this creased edge along the top edge here. So pull the thread through, and now I can begin inserting a series of stitches alternating between the right and the left folded edge as I go. So I begin with bringing it over to the left folded edge, and I'm going to bring it through the center of the crease, inserting it right where the thread touches when I draw the thread across. So right there, I'm going to insert the stitch, and then I'm going to immediately bring it back out, still working right on that crease. So I'm bringing the needle back out through the center of the crease, and then I'm drawing the thread through like that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this side, do the same thing. I'm going to see where the thread touches when I bring it across, and then that's where I'm going to insert the needle, and then once again draw the needle underneath along the crease and then bring it out through the crease. And now you can see as you tighten the thread that that gap is starting to close up. So let's keep going. By the way, I'm using red thread today, which doesn't blend very well with my gray fabric. I'm doing that just so that you can see this a little better, but feel free to use a color of thread that blends nicely with your fabric. As you get to the end here, it gets a little trickier, a little less room to maneuver. And so then you can start kind of trying to poke the needle from the top down and drawing it through. Takes a little longer, but you'll get it. Okay, bring it back over to this side. Almost there. And one more over here, I think. Very, very tricky. Okay, and then my last stitch, I'm gonna make it come out a little tiny bit past my opening. And then I'm gonna flip it around this way. Try to pull that thread tight. Try not to break your thread as you do this. So be firm but gentle. And you can kind of squish your stuffing around to make it look a little nicer. And there you go. Okay. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and create a knot at the end. I'll make it a double knot for good measure. Then I'm going to try to hide the end of this thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke it in through the seam line, and then I'm going to, without poking myself, I'm going to be very careful, but I'm going to find a place to make the needle come out somewhere over here. And then I'm going to draw the thread through. And then over here, I'm going to pull a little bit, grab my scissors, and cut the thread. And you see the thread got hidden inside the pillow. So there you go, that's it. Your pillow is all closed up and ready for use.